going to be a lot better at this than you think I'm going to be. I mean, we are Portsmouth. Look at ya. With your clean air zone. We got one there in London. Except we need ours. If I lived in Portsmouth, I'd want it to be a diesel only zone, do you know what I mean? And I know some people are looking at me thinking, this guy looks like he's going to come up here, give a TED talk about vegan trainers. And I'm aware that like a PE teacher, we got a £40 ASOS voucher for his birthday. I'm aware that I look a bit like a sailor that's dressed up for a meeting at the bank. I'm aware that I look a bit like a human pug. I'm aware that I look like Lewis Capaldi with a muscle wasting disease. I'm aware that I look like what would happen if you ordered Keith Lemon off of Wish.com. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you, Portsmouth, is I'm aware that I look like a prick. And that's mainly because I am, right? Like, I'm one of these people, you know, you see people that wear sunglasses indoors, right? I've taken that to a new level recently. I've started wearing sunglasses on a tube. Now what that is, guys, it's this little train that goes underground. You fucking love it. I was on the tube with my sunglasses recently. I got off at my stop. I went to go up the escalator. I went to grab the handrail, but I missed because it was too dark. And I accidentally grabbed this girl's hand. She asked me if I was okay. I panicked and said yes. We got about halfway up and then she turned to me again and said, "Where's your dog?" So it died when I was 15, I never quite got over it. So have you not got a stick? I said, "No dog, don't need no stick." Then I worked out what she was talking about, but still ahead of some of you. Well, at that point, we ran out of escalator, we just stood on the concourse holding hands. It got quite awkward. I didn't know what to do, I panicked, and what's happened is I've kept it going. And I've got this arrangement every Tuesday, she picks me up, we do my big shop in Tesco's. Her name's Abby, she's nice. But basically, the reason I look like this is because I moved from like a shit town like this, I know it's a city, and I moved to big London and made something of myself. Right, I moved to the hipster part of East London, right? When I first moved there, I didn't really like it, but now I've been there a while, I've started to change. Things have started to happen to me, right? Like, since I've moved to Leafy, East London, I get invited to more dinner parties than I do house parties. Now, there's some young people at the back, so I'm just going to explain to you guys what a dinner party is. It's a house party for people that have given up. Yeah, the only tabs being dropped at a dinner party are in the dishwasher, you know what I'm saying? The only drug being chopped up is Gaviscon. I got invited to this dinner party recently. It was the shittest dinner party, right? You didn't even get to choose where you sat. It was place names. I got sat next to this guy, his name was Kurt. Now, I don't know if you've ever met Kurt before, but they're a waste of time. This guy turns to me and went, "So, what do you do, Joey?" I said, "I'm a stand-up comedian." He said, "What, as a hobby?" I said, "No, as a job." He said, "Is it a part-time job?" I said, "I can see why you would think that, as I'm currently playing the same gig as a fake Oasis band, but it's actually my full-time job, Kurt." He went, "I suppose you've got Instagram?" I said, "Yeah, it's Joey Page Comedy." He said, "Joey Page Comedy?" I said, "That's right, Kurt, it's Joey Page Comedy." He said, "Would you like me to say it against the people of the Wedgwood Rooms in Portsmouth? Remember that it's Joey Page Comedy." said, what do you do, Kurt? He said, I work at a bank. I said, what as a hobby? Right, but I moved to East London. I didn't like it at first, right? There's too many independent coffee shops, right? Independent coffee shops make me feel weird, right? Because they sell things that don't sound good coming out of my working class mouth, right? Like, I don't like saying latte, doesn't sound good, right? I don't like saying croissant, doesn't sound good coming out of my mouth. I don't like saying plain of chocolate. Right, and they ask you more questions in these places and you have to answer when you're filling out a form to renew your car insurance, right? I went to this one near me, it's called Opulence Coffee Roasters. I walked in and the guy said, what can I get for you, comrade? Now, I wanted to say something to smash your fucking head in with, right? But you can't do that in gentrified East London. I don't like saying latte. I said, can I have a white coffee, please? He said Americano. I said, no, I'm from South London. He said, flat white? I said, yeah, I'm a bit, that's why I want the caffeine. He said, what roast would you like? I said, no, I've eaten. I said, you don't understand, I'm asking you, where would you like the coffee to have come from? I went, oh, the machine. He said, we have two different types of roast here at Opulence Coffee Roasters. You can either have our regular blend, which has got subtle notes of dark chocolate, honey, and cinnamon, or you can have our new signature blend, which is created by our in-house roaster. His name's Patrice, and he studied coffee at university for 7 years. He's invented this new blend called Victory Road, which is inspired to make after reading a World War I Wilfred Owen poem in the bath. And it's got subtle notes of cinder toffee, burnt shrapnel, and the sexual frustration of a soldier returning from war. Would you like that? It's only another 95 pence extra. I said, go on then. He said, what size would you like? Now, these independent coffee shops, they can't be doing with small, medium and large, yeah, they got to get fancy. I said, what size have you got? He said, our two most popular sizes are Giove and Platone. What's fucking going on? Luckily, I've got Google Translate, so I know what's going on, right? Giove, it's Italian for Jupiter, must be the largest cup size they do, I'm presuming, right? Platone is the smallest one they do, because it's Italian for Pluto. I took a shot in the dark, I said, can I have a Mars, please? He said, we don't sell chocolate bars here, mate. He said, what milk do you want? I said, oh, I'll just have milk. He said, what kind? I said, blue. He said, do you mean cow's milk? I said, yeah, milk. He said, sir, we have a policy here at Opulence Coffee Roasters where if the milk comes from a living, breathing being, we have to tell you which living, breathing being it's come from, so you know the stresses and struggles that living, breathing being has gone through to give you the kind of milk that you want in your coffee. Like, did you know that when the cow gives birth to the calves, they're taken away from the mother immediately, and while she's crying out in pain and suffering for her children to be brought back to her, the great big machine's being plugged onto her titties, and milk's being pumped out of her 24/7 just to give you the kind of milk that you like. Is that kind of milk you really want, you fucking monster? And I was like, yeah, milk. He said, I'll put that through for you, sir, but I must remind you that here at Opulence Coffee Roasters, we are actually cashless, cardless, and now contactless. So if you want to pay for your coffee, all you've got to do, it couldn't be easy, all you've got to do is scan the QR code. However, because this is a grade 2 listed building, there's not a lot of phone reception in here, so to scan the QR code, you're going to need to log onto the Wi-Fi. To log onto the Wi-Fi, you're going to need the Wi-Fi password. The Wi-Fi password, it couldn't be simpler, it's just the word opulence. That's O for organic, P for pretentious, U for understanding, L for local produce, E for environment, N for new wave, C for community, E for Etsy. We've got an Etsy page, please buy one of our t-shirts. Thank you for applauding me for remembering something that I wrote. Then, once you scan the QR code, all you got to do is put your name, your address code, your address, your postcode, which hospital you was born in, how many fillings you got in your fucking mouth. Then it asks you to put your Instagram handles. I put Joey Page Comedy. But the thing is, Portsmouth, right? Since I've moved there, I've changed, right? I go into Opulence Coffee Roasters all the time. I've filled out loads and loads of loyalty cards, right? I think what's happened since I've moved to East London, I think I've gone up a class level, right? And I'm not for 1 second suggesting that I've become middle class, right? Because I cannot stand those gilet insulated, pate licking, Stilton snorting, Range Rover driving, corduroy clad, Tory voting cunts. But I will go easy on you because I know you're the only people that can afford to go to comedy on a Friday night. I think what's happened is, I think I've become upper working class, right? Like, for example, since I've moved to East London, I like sushi now, but only the sweet chili chicken one out of Morrison's. Or like, I like music by pretentious bands like The War on Drugs, but I also very occasionally will deal drugs. Or like, I'm buying avocados all the time, but I'll scan them through as an onion. Right, I know that my parents are on to me, right? I know that they know that I am no longer proper working class, right? So I tried to change that, and I thought what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my old man out and do the most working class thing I can think to do, right? I took him down to the local pub to watch an entire episode of Gillette Soccer Saturday. Now, there will be some people in the audience that have never seen an entire episode of Gillette Soccer Saturday, so let me just explain what happens, right? It's a programme about football that hasn't got any actual football in it, right? There's a guy called Jeff, he's in a studio with 3 or 4 ex-footballers, right? Now, ex-footballers are normally quite famous for not needing a job after they retire because they've made so much money. Unless obviously they play for Portsmouth or whatever. Fuck off. Spoiler alert, there's a Paul Merson joke coming up, so... Right, what happens is the first 2 hours of the show, they try and predict the scores of all the games, right? So Jeff will be like, what do we think the United score's going to be today then, fellas? And one of them, he's normally called Paul. He'll be like, well, Jeff, if I was a betting man, I'd say United are going to win 2-1. And Jeff would be like, yeah, but you were a betting man, weren't you, Paul? That's why I have to bring you in every Saturday to stop you going into rehab. Then after the break, it's like an episode of Gogglebox, but with 2 main differences, right? Number 1, they haven't paid for the rights to the games. I think they've got like a dodgy feed or Fire Stick or something, you know what I mean? So we can't see what they're looking at. And they haven't got a good enough command of the English language to tell us what they're looking at. So like, what's going on in your game, Ray? They're like, well, Jeff, it's come in, it's gone round, it's come over. Oh, Jeff! Well, you've not really told us anything there, Ray. I'm using all the words that I'm allowed to say, Jeff! We'll come back to you, Ray, now for the scores in the championship. Jeff! Back to Ray. I miss my kids. That's a whole lot. It's basically, it's the working class version of Saturday Kitchen, right? Which, if you've not seen that, right, it's 2 middle class white guys who are so dull and featureless they might as well not bother having faces. And they'll say something like, on today's show, we're going to teach you how to make a light summery Malaysian dish using only everyday store cupboard items that we've all got lying around at home. Now, I'm not much of a cook, but I think it's highly unlikely that Michelle Roux fucking Jr. is going to appear on my screen and be like, for this dish, all you're going to need is an out-of-date Bombay Bad Boy pot noodle, a sweet curry sauce from McDonald's, and 12 sesame seeds I got out of a packet in 2014. The things this geezer thinks I've got in my store cupboard, right? Number 1, in my house, it's not even called store cupboard, it's just called cupboard. Star Anise. I genuinely thought they were a band. Galang Galang. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. And local honey, fair enough, depends where you live. I thought I'm going to have a go at this dish. So I rang out Abby from the Tube. I said, any chance you can nip me up the big Tesco's? said, can't do Fridays at work. I thought, no problem. I went back down the tube, stuck my hand out. This time it was a fella. I thought, I haven't got time to be fussy. Just gave it a quick squeeze. He went, what the fuck are you doing, mate? I was like, whoa, I'm blind! Then I realised I'd forgotten my sunglasses. Right, well, I went down there, right, and I turned to a girl that worked there and I said, excuse me, love, have you got any star anise? She said, have you tried the DVD section? I said, you've still got a DVD section in 2023? She said, there is one in Fratton. You lot are so cheap. I was up the seafood aisle looking for whatever this glang thing is, I've still got no idea, right? I turned to another guy that worked, I said, mate, have you got any local honey? And he said, check out Tina until 2, she's quite fit. I ended up giving up, getting myself a pizza and a packet of 4 Rolo mousses and calling it quits. Right? Which was huh? Someone cheering for their favourite mousse, I mentioned Rolo mousse. Right. It was a difficult decision to make, right? Because I don't know if any of you have been to a big Asda recently, right? But there are more types of mousse in the dessert fridge in the big Asda than there are species of bird on this fucking planet. In my big Asda, right, they've got chocolate mousse, strawberry mousse, lemon mousse, toffee mousse, they got Aero mousse, they got Rolo mousse, they got Aero mint mousse, they got Milky Bar mousse, they got Aero mint mousse extra bubbles, where you're literally fucking paying for more air and less mousse. Fucking wake up, everyone. They got carpet regeneration mousse, admittedly that's in a different section. They've got a mousse for every single dietary requirement under the sun, right? They got some for the lactose intolerant, some for the gluten-free vegan, some that are high in protein, low in fat, no added sugar, extra sweetness, some for people that are allergic to nuts, some for people that are not sure if they're allergic to nuts, some for people that once had a dream they're allergic to nuts, now just buying it to be on the safe side. I understand, yeah, that it's 2023, the age of inclusivity, where everybody can be and do and have whatever they want. If you so choose, you can have hummus on a burger. I just saw that on the menu and thought it's a fucking weird thing to put in every single burger. If I were for a burger and they're putting hummus on it, I think something's seriously going wrong there. Right, but this is where we're going wrong. Not everybody in society needs to be able to eat a fucking mousse. Right, if you've got a dietary requirement that says that you can't have a mousse, do not buy a mousse that doesn't contain any of the key ingredients of a mousse, because guess what? It's not going to taste like a fucking mousse. If you're a vegan, congratulations, have a flapjack. If you're gluten-free, your life must be so shit. There's only one thing there's more of in Asda than types of mousse, right? And that is reviews on the Asda website about mousse. I've got a couple of my favourites here. This one's about the Milky Bar mousse. It says, I bought these Milky Bar mousse a few months ago. Taste exactly like Milky Bar. Only different texture. Brackets mousse. What is the fucking point of writing that? And they've always got little like names at the bottom, yeah? That one was sent in by @Joey Page Comedy. This one, right, it's our favourite. This one's like the toffee mousse. It says, I really love these toffee mousse. Such a light, flavourful treat. They never fail to cheer me up. Low in calories too. I will always buy these toffee mousse whenever they are on offer. Jill. They're 4 for £2 when they're not on offer. If you can't afford them, scan them through as an onion. I tell you the types of people that write these reviews, and I'm convinced there's some of you in. They're the types of people that not only watch, but also enjoy the one show. Which I think, good on you for coming out tonight, yeah? Because that's what you're faced with, that's the alternative. I think it's the worst show on British TV. And to end my set tonight, I'm going to do a little impression of the one show. Oh look, here comes Jermaine Genius with his personality like a packet of dried apricots. Here comes famous idiot Ryland. He's going to tell us about the new series of Supermarket Sweep and also regaling us with an anecdote about a time where he was so stupid that he thought you had to put baked beans in the actual oven. Special report, how to have salon quality hair at home. I obviously paid attention to that bit. Here comes Sally Gunnell to promote her new podcast where she runs the length and breadth of some of Britain's most famous high streets. We'll be finding out why. We take to the streets to find out why young people are so interested in rimming. Plus, the guy from Watch Dogs is going to be here, interviewing a young girl who got conned out of all of her Tesco club card points by a comedian pretending to be blind. Guys, I'm enjoying Page. Have a good weekend, yeah?